Zuma Boxing here, back with another video. Alright guys, I try to find videos that I can actually speak on a couple days and in the past couple days, and there hasn't been really shit to talk about in terms of boxing. Boxing has been kind of stagnant in terms of the news reports. I mean, there have been news reports, but it wasn't like it was either uninteresting or something that there wasn't much to speak about. Now, I just got finished playing basketball. Played basketball, then I sat down to take a break. And while I went to take the break, I went on YouTube and I went on Fight Hype's account, and they posted a video from Antonio Tarver, and it was about how he's struggling financially right now. He admitted himself, which is it's pretty upsetting to see a legend going through such a terrible time outside of the ring and with his finances. And he was talking about how he's 47 years old and that he still feels like he has a lot left in the tank, which I don't believe in my personal opinion. But he continues to go on and say how he's being blacklisted from boxing and that none of the heavyweights want to give him his shot for the title. But he was saying it in a way in which he was trying to make it seem like he wanted to make history at the same time, which I truly don't believe, because I feel like he's already made he has already made like his name in the game, and I bet that he doesn't have really much to prove, because when he was speaking on Manny Pacquiao in another interview that I'll put in the description, he was saying how Manny Pacquiao doesn't have much to prove. Now, if he's using that mentality towards Manny Pacquiao, that I'm guaranteeing that he'll use that same approach with himself. Now, I bet he doesn't have much to prove. He just wants the big fights and get the big money. Now, he says that none of these guys want to fight him because of his skill set, and that if they felt like he was an easy fight, that they would love to get him on his resume. Now, that may apply to some fighters. There's fighters that people wouldn't want to fight, Rigondeaux, Triple G, and so on. But but if they were easy to beat, that they would love to get them on their resume. Now, Antonio Tarver is a pretty old man, 47. The nigga older than my dad, and I'm 18, so the guy's pretty old. So let's say if Wilder was to go in there and absolutely destroy Antonio Tarver, that man will receive so much criticism for taking that fight against Antonio Tarver. Now, I feel like, in my personal opinion, these champions aren't fighting him because they don't want to receive the slack after they would beat Antonio Tarver. That's just my personal opinion. Now, if Antonio Tarver was on a roll and just coming beating all these guys' asses and making it seem really impressive and actually passing his drug test, then that would be an impressive victory if the champions were to beat him. Now, that's not the case, because this man has been caught using steroids several times. Before he was even in heavyweight division, this man had been caught using PEDs. Now, and another thing, it's not like there aren't heavyweight fighters out here that he could fight, and if he beats them, that would be pretty impressive. I mean, Antonio Tarver knows how the boxing game works. He has started from the bottom, just like every other fighter that made their pro debut. And what happens is he knows how the game works. He knows that he would have to prove himself for him to get a title shot and to actually get his name in the mix with all the other heavyweights. Now, there are fighters in the heavyweight division that will be impressive if he beats them, that will fight him. There's a guy named Louis King Kong Ortiz that I guarantee you would love to take that fight. The man's 36 years old, Louis Ortiz I'm talking about, and he doesn't have much time left in the tank either. So if he was to beat a man like Antonio Tarver, then that would really that would be something that he wouldn't hesitate doing. And the guy's an interim champion. Now, if Antonio beats him and gets that interim title, then he has like a heavy case against all the other champions to fight him. especially the one who has that WBC title, being Deontay Wilder now. Um, Also, there's a two-time former heavyweight champion, former champion just like yourself, that has been calling you out. Not recently, but he has called you out in the past and has verbally abused you on social media, being Shannon the Cannon Briggs. You know, a lot of people aren't trying to fight him at all. David Haye promised that he would fight him, but then he backed out. But Klitschko promised he would fight him, then he backed out. Wilder, uh, Wilder backed out of the fight to go fight another guy. You know, a lot of people aren't. I'm not saying they're scared of him. The fight just never happens between the world champions and Shannon Briggs. So if he was to beat Shannon Briggs, who has the most first round knockouts at heavyweight history, that would be pretty impressive, and that would stir his name up in the heavyweight division as well. The man has options. He's just trying to jump straight to the top because he has been world champion before, and he just feels that he could just deserve a title shot whenever he wants. Now, he did have a point. He was saying how these other guys that aren't as deserving as him are just getting world title shots all over the place, being Chris Arreola and Charles Martin, Glasgow. You know, that's understandable. I get it. But at the end of the day, you still have to be able to prove something. You already have a tarnished reputation based off of your, performance enhancement drugs, and yeah, that's just pretty much it right there. And that alone is something hard to bounce back from. Only some fighters have been able to do that after being caught doing it. Roy Jones Jr., Shane Mosley, and so on. Now, I do feel bad for the situation that Antonio Tarver is going through. However, I feel like he brought this upon himself. You know, this is what happens when you don't have a good team in your corner. This is why Mayweather always puts emphasis on this. He always puts emphasis on having a strong team, because at the end of the day, your team are going to be the ones who keep your finances intact and keep the income coming through. Now, what I believe happened is that Antonio Tarver, when he got the money, just like a lot of African American and athletes in general that come from a not so financially comfortable situation, once they get that money, they start to splurge. And then eventually they start to lead into a lifestyle that they can no longer afford. So then they become in debt, and then they go broke, and then they have no income coming in because they never had anything that was going to keep their income rolling. Now, you know, that's just a real unfortunate situation. This shows that boxing needs more stronger teams to keep these fighters intact. And this is just an unfortunate situation. But like I said before, Antonio Tarver still has if he feels like he could beat these heavyweight champions, he has to do these things to get this thing done and to make the money that he wishes he can have. Now, do I see that happening? Not at all. But anything in the sport of boxing, anything's possible in the sport of boxing. Now, you know, I mean, I really don't know I really don't know the ins and outs of boxing, but I really personally believe that I gave him the best advice that he could receive. You know, he got to move back up in the ranks, do his thing, and let's just see what happens. I wish the best for Antonio Tarver. Let me know, but nonetheless, let me know what you guys think about this situation. Leave it in the comment section below. This is Mazuma Boxing, and we out of here.